Every great deal starts with a question. Is this property a problem or an opportunity? At the Real Estate Deal Lab, we open the file, study the numbers, inspect the repairs, and separate emotion from evidence. From neighborhood signals to renovation risk, every detail is tested against the deal. Then the strategy comes into focus. What to offer, what to avoid, where the upside is hiding. Welcome to a sharper way to analyze real estate, built for investors who want clarity before they make the move. Welcome to the Real Estate Deal Lab.
Oh, my camera. Let's go. Welcome, everybody, to the Real Estate Deal Lab. Super excited. I have so much that we could talk about today. How are we looking over there?
Good. Want to bring your parents on?
Yep, let's bring them on. There you go. Hi.
Hi.
So this is a very fun but real post because my folks have always wanted, this is my parents, they've always wanted land and farming, and I'll let them tell the story, but I just wanted, this is all about letting you know there's so many opportunities to not only grow your wealth in real estate investing, but also grow your wealth by creating your own backyard farm. So we're going to chat with them a little bit, and then we'll dive deep into all of the different grants and everything that is required to do so. Kentucky Backyard Farm will be with us on next episode, but we will dive right into it. So tell me a little bit about not only what you have growing in your food forest farm now in your backyard, but tell me a little bit about your story in that.
In farming.
Yes.
Well, we wanted to get out of the cities, right? Where we are right now is still suburb city. We wanted to get out of the cities so that we can go and get a bigger property so we can invest and do some organic farming. So we have some acres up in Alabama, and the ground up there is clay, right? And so we got the property, I think it was 2019. And since my husband was sick and all that, we haven't been able to really stay up there.
Right.
But we are down here, and we went to John Boyd and his wife, and they tell us that even if you have a backyard, that could consider a farm.
Right.
So they say you don't need no minimum required space. You can do it on a rooftop. What did they say? You can, your little space that you think is just your backyard could be called a farm. And so you have to actually, though, get in touch with United States Department of Agriculture people, those people.
So basically, you had to get it registered. Did you get one of them registered?
Right. We got the one up in Alabama registered, almost by accident.
What was that process like?
Well, we didn't even know what we were doing, right? So we walked into the office. We had our survey done, and they're going to need that from you, right? So we walked into the office. We said, look, there's the United States Department of Agriculture. So we walked in there, went upstairs, and they took the survey from me and give me a number. And I didn't even know what that meant. And so we took the number. And
did you have to pay for that, or what did you have to do to get it?
Nothing. All we had to do was tell them where the property is, right? And give them the survey. And they just looked it up and give us a number, and we walked out. And we thought, oh, that was easy.
Wow.
So we didn't know what we were doing.
Okay.
Because when we went to John Boyd and them, they were saying, oh, you're gonna need a number. But I have a number for that property up there. But for this one in Florida, we haven't yet.
Yeah.
Well, but what we're doing now is planting. And since we have a store, we can sell,
Right.
because we are retail anyway, right?
What's
So
the
we
name of
can
the
sell
store that
them.
you have, just so that people know? And I just want to let you know that we're streaming on multiple platforms. Okay, so share the
Okay.
game. Okay, I like
Well,
to give the game away. Daddy, you better be ready to give the game away. I don't even want you to. You got to give the game. Let's go.
well, we have a store, and we've had it since 2005,
Hmm.
right? It's called Green Foods Market. We changed the name when you came. 2016, we changed the name from Right Our Ministry to Green Foods Market. And so we sell retail. We're a retail store, and we sell products, herbs, and, books and nuts and things like that, right? We're a
Okay.
plant-based grocery store. So we can do that because it's like a home-based business. We had a separate building at one time, and then we brought it here. So we have a commercial residential place. This is our home, this is our store. And
Right.
so we start adding plants because we can do that. We start adding plants to the herbs and the nuts and the rice and the lentils, everything that we sell in the store. Start adding outside and inside plants.
Okay.
So we
So let
sell
me
those
ask you.
also.
Let me ask you a question. Right.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I know Daddy might be able to. Mr. Roy could answer it as well. What is the fees that you had to do or had to pay in order to start your own garden the way you have it right now? So I know the garden personally, but share a little bit about what's in it, and can it be sustainable? Like, can you say to yourself, I don't need to go to a grocery store for this. I can just actually uh, plant this and grow this.
Well, we have a number of things we can do. Take, for example, I'm looking at what we see growing up right now. We have this bush called callaloo. Many people know about callaloo,
Hmm.
and that could be a very healthy dish, a vegetable dish. Then we can even plant the sweet potatoes because we have them growing up right now in the backyard.
So,
Pumpkin.
so if somebody wants to get sweet potato pie, they can actually grow it. How long did it take to grow? Tell me a little bit about that stuff.
Well, it's within a year. Everything is within a year. But nowadays we see other people growing it even quicker than that. I would say 6 months.
Hmm.
Okay, so it depends how you grow it because many times we have young ones or leftovers and we put it in the ground and it start growing.
So it's like
So
something that you don't even have to worry about. You just throw it in the ground, and then it starts to grow,
yeah,
and then suddenly it's like your food.
leaves,
Really?
leaves, leaves start coming up. And when you
Okay.
see leaves, you know something is in the ground.
Right. Okay.
And depending on the soil, which is so very important, if you have good soil, good compost soil, then they grow and multiply real fast. You'll see more production then.
Okay.
So that's another fact.
And
So like the
you go ahead.
the soil up in Alabama is clay. So we try to amend the soil a lot, but
Hmm.
it's still hard. So we really need time to make it soft, right? So it can retain water. But the one down here is sandy. And so sandy soil, water runs right off of it too. So you have to amend it with compost. And so we put compost, we put wood chips, we put leaves, we put chard, we, all your kitchen scraps, we make a compost. Sometimes I do compost, let leaves, green things rot, and then I put it on there like, fertilizer.
Say it again.
But the soil is getting so much better. I realize another thing is that moringa,
Okay.
Yeah. Join in. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Just keep going. Sorry.
moringa leaves. We have about 1, 2, 3, 4 moringa big trees now. And when the leaves fall, it makes the soil softer
Okay.
and, and nourish the soil. And so, like right now, like my husband was saying,
So you
we have a
might
lot of
have to-
hallelujah.
I like to be rough with y'all, right? Because y'all are my family, so I'm gonna go hard on you. All right, so basically, you could be packaging that up. That could actually be the natural fertilizer, right?
That's
So
it.
because
That's it.
I've seen what the moringa leaves after they hit the ground, and how
Mhm.
it covers the ground, and after a while, the ground becomes like really good to grow.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's something that's a revenue stream, because we're trying to teach folks, there's so many different revenue streams to not only be sustainable, but also, I mean, you're doing it, but it's also set their families up, right? To not only eat good, but also have sustainable income coming in there, and support each other, basically, So if you have clay soil on one side, and somebody else has sandy soil, but they could amend it because they got a bunch of, moringa trees, right? Now we can trade off with each other. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Donville, for jumping in.
Yeah,
The man
I
behind.
must say this conversation is very exciting because I'm really into technology, but I grew up, was born in Jamaica, grew up with my parents always in the garden. That's something I always loved, helping them out in the garden. And it really
Yeah.
wasn't
Right.
until probably 2020 where I started taking gardening really seriously. We're in Palm Bay. We're on a double lot, and our house is right in the middle. So we have lots of land. And in 2020, we cleared out all the land that we had, and we said, "Hey, we're gonna start like purposely doing a garden." So in 2020, we started just with garden beds, with just wood, and of course, we didn't really know what we were doing. It was a lot of trial and error.
Right.
And then I like to add in, like, I love the dynamic of, Nathaniel, your parents passing this information down to you, because I was born in Jamaica, but as like my parents, they explained it to me after, we were older, but they explained that, like the old ways of the country, they were kind of frowned upon. They didn't really want to give that to us, because they felt like, oh well, we're in America now. They want us to find our own way. But growing up and going through these things of like wanting to garden and things, they knew a lot about raising rabbits, a lot about raising chickens, a lot about the plants and what to plant and how to do things. And now we're having those conversations. We're able to help me and show me, like, hey, this is the type of like, don't throw that away. That's not a weed. You can actually pick that and feed that to your rabbits instead of buying food from the store. So
That's it.
lots of great things I learned from my parents. And you're right, like even the moringa leaves, even leaves in general, even if you plant a tree, because we're really big on planting trees in our property. When you plant a tree, those leaves, they do have very, like, really good medicinal properties
That's it.
before
That's
you
correct.
even have fruit that you could,
That's
use. You could dry them, you can make a tea. So the plant is very beneficial within that first year, even if it's not bearing fruit.
Yeah.
Right. And you can mulch the leaves and use them like mulch,
Mhm.
Also, the little chips that come off from you cut a branch, you cut them up fine, and
Yeah.
you put them in the soil, and they too produce.
They're rot
They
too.
rot. Yeah. As you
Right.
can see, we need to to show a little demonstration of that also one day.
Well,
Don't worry,
We
we
do.
did a little bit today.
well,
I'll chop this video. We'll throw all of that in there.
what we're
Wow.
trying to do is things are getting hard, right? Food are getting expensive, right? So we're trying to show people you take one plant and that one plant could produce a lot of different baby plants, right? It's like your aloe. If it shoots up out the side, you can take that one and plant that one. It's like abundance, right? You clip a piece of moringa and you can stick it in the ground and you don't have to buy moringa ever again. You take a nice piece of the moringa stick, dig a deep hole and put it in there and it'll start. In about a month, you'll see leaves coming off.
Oh yeah.
We did that to your house, Nathaniel. And we
yeah.
have leaves and we have
Put me out
pods
there.
and
Y'all put me out there.
and pods, so we're trying to teach people to be self-sufficient. All right.
Yeah,
So we have about almost 40 different plants in our yard, right? And so we can go out there and even if the potatoes, we have sweet potato, we have white potato, even if the potatoes are not big enough, we can still eat those, right? We can eat a lot of the leaves that we have out here. We have aloes too. We can eat everything. Drink tea, fever grass. We have that. We have different things. People are using papaya leaves now for cancer. You can boil almost every leaf and drink a tea and it'll heal your body. So we're trying, hey, start putting something in the ground. You can't just run to Walmart and Publix and Winn-Dixie. Just stop it. Stop it already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put something in the ground because it takes a while for fruit trees to grow. We have some grapes coming up. The first year we joined a tropical fruit club down here, and like once a month, right? And it's like 1 year the grape tree just gave us one grape. Next year it gave us two. Now it has a whole lot.
Yep.
You know
I
what I
saw
mean?
it today, so that was good.
Right. So it's like it takes time for fruit trees to grow. A mango, you're not going to put it in the ground and it grows tomorrow. You
So
see, it takes time.
what was your mindset about even growing? Because growing, like Donville was saying earlier, it was frowned upon because it was almost like slave labor. People are like, oh, you're doing,
No,
But I
in the
find
60s,
what made you think to do it? Number
me?
one, yeah.
Okay. Well,
What
just
kind
like
of
he
mindset?
said,
In other words, what kind of mindset do you have to be in?
I always love the country, right? I'm not a city person. Always love the country. Going way back in Jamaica, I used to go to Kildare in Portland and loved it. Always sit down under an almond tree and break almond and eat. Always loved the country, the river, the everything. So from then, you grow up. I hated cities. So I wanted to always get to the country.
What
So
about you, Mr. Roy? What about you?
Well, I
You gotta put these young men on the
I
spot.
really grew up in it. I really grew up in it
there you go.
from a kid, young. I would say from 2 year old. My grandfather used to take me up into the farm, and that was a big one, and see them plant corn, and they put me on the side, and I watch. So I'm really very much familiar with all those facts, how they would cut cane and then cut piece off and throw it flat on the ground, and before you know it start growing up. And you having cane and more cane, all kinds of cane.
I remember now. I want to hit it because not everybody's Caribbean, but I obviously grew up with my folks there. My folks had I want to say 13 or more gunga pea trees.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
so y'all
yeah.
don't know about the peas trees. Okay, they had 13 or more. Then they had cane in one section. They had a double lot as well back then days. So I remember personally.
Grapefruit tree,
Right, we
grapefruit
had
tree.
grapefruit tree. We had a bunch of different trees there.
Even
Um,
though they say it wasn't right back then, but we had good trees,
yeah,
two
good
good
tree.
trees, and we share with people.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
another thing too. When and good luck thing you highlighted that as well. When you're living in this world of abundance, just like my mother said earlier, Mama Green Foods. You all see her online. Hello, Green Foods Market. Uh, at the end of the day, it's abundance. You don't really have the lack that people talk about because you're like, wait a minute, I could take one rosemary tree and seven has come up. That's what we have seen personally. I could take
Right.
parsley and just like throw it in the ground and split it, divide it. Now it's five different trees, right? So that's the world. And potatoes, forget about it. All I'm doing is cutting a few, and then 12 is in a bucket. You know what I
And
mean?
look, another thing that's very difficult is basil. Basil, and we have seen a lot of basil coming up with seeds and seeds
Which I have
dropping. I
never
say
seen
let them
before.
drop and grow.
Right. So I've never seen the basil seeds until the day, the way they were growing right on that tree, the buds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We see the basil tree, but this time
Hmm.
it was showing a
The
different
seed.
thing with the seeds on top of the
Mhm.
tree. So that was amazing to see. So again,
Yeah.
when people think about the lack, you get on the news, that's all they're talking about, and they overcharging us for the regular stuff, right? That we can literally buy and grow the seeds and wait over time because it's not going to happen overnight because it's definitely a mindset thing. That's why I always try to
Hmm.
reach out to you all about what is the mindset behind it, right? Y'all are Caribbean, so it's a little bit different. Every Caribbean house I've ever seen, they had trees in their yard. Like, I don't know what it
That's
was. That's
true.
a part of their
That's true.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, you could tell back in the days when we drive around Palm Bay, you could see who was a
Yeah,
Caribbean or not
that's
because
right.
they
That's
literally
right.
had a
You can
forest in
tell
front
who
of their
there.
house. You're like,
That's
what is
true.
going on here? We knew that was like a language they were speaking.
Yeah,
But
but
Yeah.
yeah,
then you have Americans though who are brought in the South. A lot of the
that's
Southern,
true too. Yep, yep. They plant for
they are
real.
just like us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
You
Yeah.
plant
know,
for real.
and so you sometimes get fooled up because you see a jackfruit tree in a yard and you think it's, you know what I mean? But you have a lot of Southern,
Mhm.
American people who are just like us and they grow. And just like John Boyd and his wife, they're
Hmm.
Americans fully, but they're farmers from way back, 100 years, grandfather, mother, everybody.
And
So,
I love that they kept that going because
yes.
I'm a city kid. I was born in Brooklyn. My folks are definitely country, but at the end of the day, I see it as self-sustaining, right? Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
when a certain thing happens, I didn't want to really depend on anybody or like beg anything. You get what I'm saying? Like you go to remember when they shut down, sometimes they have hurricane or whatever, everything is shut down.
Mhm.
What
Mhm.
your hunger appetite never
Indeed.
shuts down. You know what I'm saying? Your family want to
Mhm.
eat still, right? Like so why even during COVID, that was legendary because that really was
Hmm.
a thing. Like we had bales of like quinoa and all this other stuff, all of the stuff we had in the store. But like in my mindset, I was like, man, what if we didn't? Like we would have
Mhm.
to wait on logistics problems to be
Uh-huh.
resolved, and the government is doing this. So at the end
Yeah.
of the day, when I wanted to do this live, and I think really this is our mission, really, as a unit, everybody on this call and those that are watching, is to make sure that we have a community that understands how to grow stuff, right? How to not rely on, logistics that could fail us and governments that could fail us, systems that could fail us,
But
right?
don't
Yeah.
don't
I
don't
do.
think it's hard. It's not hard.
Right.
Hmm. I do want to
Because
say that that really was the mindset shift when COVID happened. Because, like you
Mhm.
said about the callaloo, like seeing callaloo pop up in my yard, I know what callaloo is. I know how easily the seed spreads. So I said, hey,
yeah,
okay, well, I'm gonna have callaloo for sure. And
Hmm.
then my wife, she's Caribbean too, so her mindset was like, hey, if anything, if the government fails, we got to rely on ourselves. So she said, hey, let's get
That's
some
it.
chickens. We got little miniature goats. We got rabbits, we
wow.
got bees. And that's the cool thing about like the farming or gardening community is that it's kind of like we speak a secret language. It's like
Yeah.
once you're in the
Mhm.
gardening,
Yeah.
you'll get into the chickens, you'll get into the bees because you understand how everything works together. And
Hmm.
I've met
Mhm.
with so many different people from different cultures, from different lifestyles, everything. You know,
But aren't they
within
like more
Florida?
giving? Like I'm gonna be honest. When I go to the fruit club folks with my parents, they're so
Yeah.
everybody's so giving. Oh, let me give you a
Oh,
shoot
yeah.
of this plant. You know,
Yep.
legendary
That's
stuff.
right.
Very,
I'm telling you, like
very.
legendary stuff.
You
Every time
have
I
to
get
come.
there,
You have to let
and it,
others know about that
Yeah.
tropical fruit club.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
where we
I
get
gotta go
trees
check that
from.
out.
Yes,
oh
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
the last was it Wednesday of the month. So we have to share that link with people because it's also
I'll share it in the thing right now.
right.
Actually,
So because it's
Good.
very interesting, people come and inform you about different diseases of
Right.
fruits and plants and stuff, and they share fertilizers and different things, so you get educated with them. It's you have to join a membership, but you get educated with them, and they share things, and you win things. You win a plant this month, maybe you didn't, and you taste different things.
and
So it's interesting.
if you don't have one, folks, and sorry to cut you, but if you don't have one, folks, start one. Right?
That's it.
Anybody that's planning stuff, can start one of these clubs. Right? You learn from each other. It's kind of like going back to the
Okay.
old days when it's tribal. It's a community, so people
Right.
can plant stuff. Oh, you guys are doing way better at watermelon. Let's barter. Let's share it.
Mhm.
Right? And at
The
the end of the
meetup
day, there's
groups
so
are
much.
like that. You remember
Oh yeah.
those meetup groups? They were like that. We used to go to different
Oh yeah.
houses
Oh
all
yeah.
the way to Sebastian. And we go to different people's houses on a Sunday evening,
And
and
they share.
they share, and we
Yep.
share with them, and we teach them how to make
First of
cheese,
all,
and teach them
I'm
how
gonna
to
tell
make
you
things.
this: my parents don't just be sharing, okay? They just be giving. They like a whole thing of
The
mangoes
givers.
came. I think we had like 60, 70 different, hundreds of mangoes. Let's say hundreds,
Oh, yeah.
because I do have the picture to back it up. They were just giving them away, and I was like, "Wait a minute, we have a store. Let's sell them. Look what they're selling them over
Okay.
here."
Yeah,
They
you
would
talk
literally
about
just give. Don't laugh; it's not funny,
you.
folks. They would just be giving them away, right? But that's the
We,
nature of
yeah.
But
those
other
that think
people
in
are giving
abundance.
us too.
And people were giving them to that, yeah,
Yeah.
but
No.
not like y'all were giving. Y'all were giving a lot. Okay, I was hungry for the mangoes.
Yes, that's the
Mhm.
abundance you're talking about. I mean, with
Yes.
mangoes, I love mangoes, but I can't even eat all the mangoes that my tree produces. So
Yeah,
that's just the
yeah,
abundance
Yeah.
of like, if you have so much, you have to
That's
give it
Yeah.
away. You have
that's true.
to
it.
share.
That's it.
That's true. And I just
Mhm.
dropped a link for everybody. If you're in the Brevard County area, definitely hit up the BrevardTropicalFruitClub.com. Very nice set of people. Also,
Yes.
look up there's a lot of extensions. So UF has an extension where they deal with a lot of plants and farming and all of that. Some of the colleges do it. So look for the agricultural little installations. They definitely have it, and you can definitely utilize those programs. Right? There's a lot of free knowledge out there.
Mhm.
We are here sharing the game as we know it. And at the end of the day, like my mother just said earlier, you can register your farm. That means you're entitled to grants. That means you're
Mhm.
entitled to a lot of different things. I talked to Levon yesterday actually, and she was sharing a little bit about how you can take a USDA loan, right,
Mhm.
and another loan together, and up to $350,000. You can actually only pay 5% of whatever the purchase price is, because the government knows that there needs to be more agriculture. Okay.
Mhm.
And also, agriculture has a lot of other tax benefits, right? So if you want to learn more about that, definitely reach out to us in the Real Estate Deal Lab. But there's so many different benefits for doing it, and it's not hard to grow your own stuff, right? If you have a bucket, you can grow the potatoes. Bucket of soil.
Mhm.
People say, "Oh, I
Mhm.
have an apartment, I can't do it." You can do it in a bucket of soil outside your yard. I've seen people
We
do
did
it.
that in your apartment in New York. We put basil and all kind of herbs on your windowsill.
Now you're telling that you even came up to the New York City lifestyle. I was like living over there, all right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's a
because a
fact.
lot of house plants
That's
helps to
right.
help you breathe better inside. It's good to have plants on the inside.
Yeah, they came and
And
visited me and
Italian
definitely
grow
blessed
wild
me
over
with
there.
that. I don't. It survived a long time. It did.
Yeah.
It did survive. It did
Yeah,
survive.
so now we're selling the snake plants and the peace lily to put. A lot of plants can be inside so that it'll help the oxygen in your house and take out the carbon dioxide. So the more plants you have in the house, I mean, in hospitals they don't want them, but it's not good. You can't even open the windows in hospitals. So, my mission is get all the snake plants in hospitals, right? And get the windows open. I'm gonna open my own hospital one day. I'm telling you, because you
And that's
need
my
to
mom's
breathe.
background, by the way. We've been in the hospital for
You need to breathe.
decades. She's
Right.
been a nurse for
It's not
that long
good.
time. I think
And
all Caribbean people
I
have
have discovered something with the snake plant. You could use a half of a leaf, blend it in water, and drink it, and it helps the kidney. So again, there are benefits involved
In
as
all
far
leaves.
as far as the snake plant is concerned.
And this is not for, we don't
We're not
want to
giving any
tell you.
medical advice, okay,
There
people?
you go.
Disclaimer. All
Yeah,
right.
and,
All right.
We
We'll
have
give
a
you all the
disclaimer,
disclaimers. You check
okay.
your
and
own
we
due
do have a
diligence, do your own
disclaimer.
thing,
Yeah.
but
Don't
you
go
can
do
grow
your
your own
own thing.
food, okay?
There you
But
go. Grow your
yeah,
own things, because pretty soon you're not going to be just like the hurricanes teach us. You're not going to be able to go out there and run out and buy things when everything is gone,
yeah.
right? You have to know how to eat from your yard. The 2 loquat trees we had in Southwest Palm Bay, we used to eat a lot of loquat,
We
you
share
know.
local.
So you should have something to eat and can sustain you. Potatoes can sustain you for a long time. Even the sweet potato leaves. I didn't even know years ago. I realized that you could eat the leaves, like
Yeah.
spinach.
Yeah.
You know,
Also pumpkin leaves.
pumpkin leaves too.
And we have so much pumpkin
You have a
leaves
lot
out
of
here.
pumpkin leaves. I just was there. Like I said, it was a lot. And it looked like
Yeah.
it's taken over. I love it. I love the way it looks. I love the way moringa looks too.
Yeah.
Donville, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I know Kentucky's not on here right now, but since you have chickens, goats, I didn't know you had the goats. I got to go over there and see that.
I got rid of the
Love it.
goats. No, we got rid of them. They were too much. It was a lot. I wanted to ask Kentucky about that because goats are a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I seen
We had
him
it for
bring
about
one,
4
and
years.
it's a lot. It's a lot of work. So
Chickens are easier.
so
Mhm.
let me find out a little bit about the animals that give the best return. So obviously you're utilizing these animals for yourself, but what if you wanted to sell them? Do you know that you can sell goats, rabbits, ducks, chickens, right?
Rabbits are, I must say, if rabbits are probably the best investment. Because first of all, the rabbits I'm talking about are not like pet rabbits. They grow big, really big. And this lady,
And they're scary.
I-
They're actually scary when I
they're
saw them
huge.
because
Yeah, they're bigger
they're
than
like
dogs.
way
They're
too like
big.
you think a little bunny rabbit.
No,
We had a
they're
guy that's
huge.
come to the store and he has a rabbit farm off of Malabar, deep in Malabar. No, Grant, right? He moved it to
Yeah,
Grant.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Unbelievable. When he showed me those things, I was like, this
Rabbit
is
hut.
basically a
Yeah.
dog. Okay, this is big.
yeah, they're bigger than dogs.
They
But
were
the cool
scary
thing
to
about,
look.
so if you're really in the garden, and the couple things about rabbits. One, they're great. They're great just to have the company. But the manure from rabbits, they actually can go directly into your soil. So they're not, they're not gonna, like chicken manure. You have to kind of compost it. Rabbit manure can go directly into the soil. So that in itself is a huge benefit. And then if you're into like processing animals for meat, rabbits actually have
No.
the. I'm not into it either. But if that's your thing, rabbits can be very beneficial because of course they multiply like crazy. It's very very quick time for them to multiply and get more. So very good investment.
Okay,
Mm.
so we got that as good investments there. Um,
Mhm.
Chickens. So how many chickens do you have? How many layers? How does that all work? We have a guy from the real estate deal lab. He's not on this live today. Actually, he might come on later, just to view it. But I helped him with his farming skills because he was he grew about 12 chickens in his
Wow.
HOA. They didn't know about it until he had 2 or 3 roosters, and because he thought he was still learning how to do it, and the
Yep.
roosters were making obviously a ton of noise,
Oh yeah.
right? And then he built a thing that was kind of like a chicken coop, but they saw it as a shed, and he's Jamaican too, right? So at the end of the day, he was just going to do his own thing, and so they said, hey, you got to stop this now and remove it. So he called me. He's like, hey, they're trying to remove my chickens. They're laying all these eggs. I said, hey, listen, let's figure it out. Let's go to where you bought the chickens and see if they have people or friends that have a little farm. You can lease the property, or at least a little bit, so you can be able to have your little chicken coop. And so I was able to set up a deal with that. But the key of it all was he was getting so many eggs.
Yep.
Like people are talking and they want eggs or whatever, but he was getting so many eggs that he didn't even know what to do with it. He didn't know what to do with it. So what is yours like, and how do you structure yours?
Definitely. So I'm actually rebuilding my flock. I had a flock last year. I think, man, the most we had was about 8 chickens, and they all died off because of some heat disease over the summer. But we had one rooster, a bunch of hens. We even had we had chickens that were breeding other chicks. Like we had little chicks that were born in the flock, but they all died out. So we started again and we have 4 hens. The thing about chickens is you'll have to wait until they're 6 months old before they start laying eggs. But when they start laying eggs, every single day, most chickens are going to lay an egg. So if you have 4 chickens, that's 4 eggs every day. I don't know about you, but I could eat 2 eggs, a couple times a week, but they pile up. They stock up, and you're going to end up having so many that you're going to have to give away. I believe in Palm Bay, I don't want to say there's a limit on the amount of hens you can have.
I think you had to have 3. I think for over here at one point they had 3.
But I would say you could definitely push it. I mean, the hens, they don't make noise.
The roosters you have to give up.
Yeah, the roosters you have to give up because they will wake you up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and we were really worried about our neighbors. The strange thing about it, Nathaniel, though, is the neighbors loved our goats and our chickens. You're gonna like this. So they were building. So we had probably 1 neighbor around our property, right? Rest of it was just empty lots. Last year, another property directly behind us was building a house. We were so worried when we had the goats, like, man, we got to get rid of these goats. They're causing the issues. They're trying to push down the fence. So we end up selling the goats to some friends. And then when the folks arrived, they said, hey, where are your goats? The realtor told us that you guys had chickens and goats. And they were retired. They had this whole plan to sit out in their back patio and look at our goats. That was the selling point of them buying a house. They were like, we want to sit on a patio and look at your hens and your goats. And we were like, we thought it would be weird. Like, why would you? But people love it.
People love and
Animals.
we're seeing a large push for people wanting to see gardens, wanting to see farms, because at the end of the day, we used to grow up with that like as a field trip, right? A lot of us from the 80s and 90s went to field trips that they had it. And it's like a little bit of a nostalgic thing, but also now it's a necessity because, the way the 1 loaf of bread used to be, $2, $1.50. Now it's like $7, right? And it's, $5 to $7. That's crazy. The same type of stuff supposed to be more efficient is not efficient, right? Now we're being overcharged. And then the egg prices that we had, that woke a lot of people up for a minute, right? That you should be able to have your, like Donovan said, literally the layers were laying eggs every single day. You would never go hungry if you were eating eggs. Now my parents are definitely 100% plant-based, but again, the same thing is true there. Like they grew a watermelon tree, a watermelon plant, right, by seed. And now we have like 4 different big watermelons, like ridiculous. It's just unbelievable, right? And then they're basically taking over the whole garden area that they have there.
It's my first time.
Wow.
Everything is just spreading.
She didn't have to do nothing. She just like threw it out there.
The seeds.
And, just threw the seeds out. That was it.
And we have another stock coming.
Save
all your seeds. Save all your seeds.
Yes.
So each seed. I put it on my post earlier. Let me pull it up. Let me make sure. But I said eat things with seeds in it. Okay.
Right.
That's it. Right. you see all the
And eat
seedless
organic
stuff.
if you can, organic is best.
Yeah. Yep. Eat things with seasoning. Eat organic, and if you're growing it yourself, it's already there. So
That's it. Naturally grown.
yep.
Mhm.
So like I said, folks, there's a lot of grants out there. Like you already heard, my mother was able to get, the license really for farming, right? And entitled to grants. Of course, uh, we're going to follow up with you with that. Yeah, I ain't
In
gonna say nothing
Florida,
a lot.
in
Yeah,
Florida, because we are going
yeah,
to move to Alabama one day, but in
yeah,
Florida, we need to get that going.
yeah.
Um,
And
but
again, take advantage of the grants. Don't be like my folks. We're going to take advantage of them because now I remember. I remember now, right? But
yeah,
at
so
the end of the day, yeah,
every property you have, your real estate, you know, put something on there. You buy a house, you rent a house, treat it like it's your own, and put things in your yard, in the
That's right.
garden, in the pots, in somewhere. People come here to buy, and it's like I don't even have to give them the pots that they're in. They take them right out the pots, take them right out the pots, the snake plants, and put them in their own little fishing bin, and they're gone with it because they're gonna put it in a beautiful pot and whatever expensive pot. It's simple. People are looking for nature. Even in New York, in Brooklyn, when Prospect Park started planting all kinds of scallions and different things in the park, because the trees give you fresh air. You know what I mean? Even though you're in the city,
If you
trees
cook
Yep.
are
it, you
so
just grab a
important.
scallion and
it's
Yeah,
definitely important.
So every property you sell, I want to put a moringa tree in the middle of it. Plant a moringa tree in the middle of every one you sell.
And
Because really
yeah,
it helps a lot. Moringa is like a cure-all,
Mhm.
just like aloe. It's a cure-all. People will appreciate it. Go look it up. Google it.
Yeah.
You know,
Nature's
Chat
multivitamin.
GPT. Yeah,
that's true.
Chat GPT it.
That's true.
I could put one in every property you have. I put one in your house, in the backyard, and in no time, in a
By
month,
the
it
way,
started growing leaves.
Caribbean parents, I'll tell you all, we're gonna edit this out, but Caribbean parents will do whatever they want in your own house. So at the end of the day, they just came and brought it. I didn't understand it, but I'm
Yeah.
okay with it because let me tell you, moringa trees are beautiful. They're definitely beautiful and they're always green. Those leaves are always amazingly green.
and the leaves
And
and the
it's so
flowers,
nutritious.
the flowers, and
Yep.
then
And the flowers, you could eat the flowers too.
and then the
Yep.
The
pot.
bees just love them. It's like we have Spanish needles, right? And the bees just
Yeah.
love these flowers and just, what I mean? So you have all kinds of things in our yard. All
Yep.
the animals come looking. Right now, because of the burn, we didn't have no mangoes this year or next year, probably. But at the same time, the bees, the snakes, the armadillos, the squirrels, the birds, butterflies, everything is around,
Yep.
and that's
Lizards,
nature.
frogs.
Right.
We
That's
could go on
nature
and on
for you.
forever. And plus,
Yeah,
it
they're
catches
everywhere.
rainwater, so there's always going to be something in there. Donville,
Yes.
tell me a little bit of the bees, because we have a lot of bees, and we need to figure out how to rehome them in the garden instead of
Really?
now. So
Oh
yes,
man, I have to get my bee suit. Okay. Yeah, I'll bring my bee suit. So there, of course, it all happened in COVID, right? I
yeah,
think there was what was it? I think we were just interested in bees. We had chickens at the time, we had the rabbits, we had the goats. We're like, man, it'd be interesting to have bees because, of course, we were building this beautiful garden and we want to make sure our plants are pollinated and just add to the ecosystem. So we ended up signing up for like a 1-day course. It was local, and within 1 day they'll teach you everything you want to know about
all right, you
beekeeping,
got to drop that. You
all
got to
the
drop
ins and
that.
outs.
You got to
So,
drop that.
okay, I'll drop it. South Brevard beekeepers. They meet. I think they meet like once a month at a church
Okay.
down here in Palm Bay. But they're a great group. They have beehives actually in the back of the church, and of course, like the entire day, they take you, they teach you everything, and then you actually end up building like a little starter box. So when people think of beehives, they think of the huge hives, but there's actually like smaller boxes that they
Right.
start out in.
Mm-hmm.
So they built out that starter box, and you would put like your like a lemongrass type of lemon scent to attract the hive. And what happens is you just put it out, the local hives, whatever, is looking for a new home, they'll find that, and you'll see them actually start filling it up. They'll start adding to the little slits that you have there, and they'll create their own hive. So the last beehive, it actually stung me. A bee stung me like right above my eye a couple months back, and it really hurt. So after it stung me, a couple weeks later, they were gone. But of course, with spring and summertime coming, we're definitely looking to attract a new hive. But that's something we don't even actually collect the honey. We actually leave the honey for them, and we just like having the bees there to pollinate all of our
Well, you
fruit
can come
trees.
and get all of mine.
All right.
First of all,
It's the deal.
we're gonna put it. Hold on, we're gonna put it in the green fruits market area, okay? And
Yeah.
that could be a thing. That's a revenue generator because honey and all of that is a revenue generator, and it does pollinate. There was a guy
Yeah.
that was saying that they lease certain lands just so they could pollinate their trees. And I was like, wait a minute, that's a revenue generator. I'm an investor, so I'm always thinking about these
Oh,
different thoughts, right? And sustainability is the key. So we have a huge, we don't know where it is, but we're gonna have to have you come over there with the beehive, folks.
Come
With
with
your
your
bee
bee
suit.
suit because we need to get them out of our attic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got-
All you gotta do is get the queen. As long as you get the queen, the
Yeah,
rest of
yeah.
them will follow. Yep.
There you go. We need
all right,
you over here.
so we're gonna do that. That's gonna be
We
on
need a
live as
queen
well.
hunter. We
And
need
you
a
know,
queen hunter.
and
Yes.
that's another thing that I will always say to everybody: keep talking, sharing. Because I
That's
didn't know
it.
that about Donville. He said, "Man, I can't wait to talk about this." He couldn't wait to get on here. He doesn't be on here at all.
Oh yeah.
But
That's true.
and I promise you, he's given us more game.
There you go.
You
Now
wanna
I
say
can get
anything
somebody to
crazy?
come get my bees.
Right, now we know
Yes.
something else, right? All
There you
right,
go.
so basically, we have a few questions here that I was going to ask Kentucky. What is something people do not understand about farming until they actually do it? And that's for both parties here.
One thing that they don't understand about farming until you
Until they
actually
actually do it. Yep.
how easy it is. You just had to jump in.
Just do it.
That's
Good.
it. You just had to. You think it's hard because you just conjure up that thing in your head that it's hard. It's not hard. You just have to jump in and do it.
Right.
Yeah. I would drop this gem. Here's another one, Nathaniel. Weeds are just plants that you didn't plant.
There you go.
A lot of times we say, "Oh, that's a weed. That's a weed." They're plants that you didn't plant. So a lot of times I'll use the app. I'll use ChatGPT, take a picture of it, and it'll identify what it is, and then I could determine, okay, well, that's definitely a plant that I don't want in my garden. I'll pull it out, but I also always make sure I check and understand like what's the actual benefits of it. How can I use it within my garden?
That's a good thing
Right.
because sometimes we just pull out stuff just because it's not what we planted, and we miss an opportunity to learn
Not
something
what we
new.
really wanted.
I
I
love it.
remember
I love it.
I remember one year we had so much cerasee.
We still have
And
Cersei.
we didn't know what to do with it until
I know
my
what to
wife
do with it.
started cutting them up and bottling them and drying them and making tea out of them. But we
Yeah.
had so much.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the season for it now too.
It's
Cersei's coming back. They're seasonal, they die off and then they come back. So Cersei is around right now. You know what I mean? All over the
Okay.
place.
Another question.
Person.
Thank you all for sharing that, by the way. So it's not hard, it's easy, and just use ChatGPT. Take a picture of it, and you'll be surprised what you'll find. How can urban families use farming to feed their family, build community, and become self-sufficient? I think we already went through this, right?
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
just to recap it, I guess that's what that is. Now, if somebody had $500 to $1,000 to start, what would you tell them to buy first?
Stack up on seeds. Organic heirloom seeds. Start with that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can buy soil too, but really you can make your own soil. You know what I mean?
Seeds are important.
But get organic heirloom seeds. Before COVID, things were cheap. After COVID, it's like everything went up so bad. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I bought a whole bin. It looks like an army container. And if you look at the preppers, if you look at the preppers have so much to teach us. It's not everything I take from them, but they have a lot. Texas Ready has a lot of seeds.
Also, Green Foods
Good.
Market. Okay, Green Foods
Yeah,
Market has seeds. Just to let you all know.
right. So we have to have,
Shameless plug.
get those seeds and save them, and then get your own seeds from your own plants and save those. You know what I mean? As your plants flower and go to seeds, use those, and save them. You have watermelon, like right now, we bought watermelon, even though we have a big old patch in another area coming up, but we saved the watermelon seeds. I put them right down in the in the ground, and then you need to find out. There's a Florida thing too, and every state probably has that, right? You can Google or chat GPT it, what to plant in what season, and
That's
eat by season. You know what I mean? You eat a ton of
I'll put the
mangoes,
link. That's
right?
exactly
You
what I
eat
was
a ton of
gonna.
mangoes. You don't have to eat mangoes again in December. You know what I mean? Many times we have so much mangoes, we freeze them and we use it to make smoothie all the
Yeah.
way, all year round. But get your heirloom organic seeds, and also, find out what to plant at what season and what time of the year. Like June, this is June, plant your beans and your this and your that. It'll tell you, what to
I
plant.
agree. I would say, other than the seeds, I spent a lot of money and a lot of wasted time buying soil. And I
Mm-hmm.
did take a class on composting. It was sponsored
Mm-hmm.
by University of Florida, and man, I learned so much about composting that now, when I have a bucket that stays outside, and anytime we use any type of eggshells, any
Yeah.
type of
Yeah.
vegetable scraps, I put it right in the bucket, and guess where it goes? Right into the compost. I've even
Mhm.
gotten to the point where the compost has gotten too big. So what I'll do is actually dig a really deep hole, like 3 feet down, around my fruit trees, and I'll just dump the compost directly in there, and that helps feed the soil as well. So, like you
Right.
said, you can make your own soil, and the
Right.
price of soil is so expensive.
Right.
We need to spend money on the seeds, not the soil.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
right.
So
Because
that
you can
sounds like
you can amend it, because Florida soil is sandy. You have to amend it with all the food scraps and everything, and compost, so that it will absorb the water. Because if you throw water on top of this sandy soil, it just runs right off. So you have to amend it with the compost and different things and the leaves and the mulch and whatever. So
Bush
it'll
scrap.
right, so that it will get nutritious and feed your plants. But seeds are the most important, I think, to get your seeds.
I love what you're saying, Donville. My folks they have like 4 different spaces of composting that they have. I mean, and we were looking at growing our own worms at one point. I mean, they are growing still in the
Yeah,
in the
they're in there.
compost.
I'm sure they're in there.
In
Yeah.
the
They're in
compost,
there.
right?
Everything is in there. Like one day she was selling one of the snake plants, and I looked and I was like, wait a minute, that soil is too rich to be just given away like that, because it had worms and everything in it. And
Wow.
they were like budding at the top. I was like, what is going on? This is no, yeah. So I guess that would be one of the biggest mistakes, is people using a lot of that soil, the soil, when they could just be building their own soil, really.
Right. And I
Um,
find that when it's season for, I look up YouTube and different places and get info, right?
yeah.
When it's season and you have coconuts, right? A coconut core, right? Now we have a fireplace. We get the ash. We burn all the leaves, coconut, them things that come off of the coconut trees, and we burn different things, and we take the ash, right?
Hmm.
And we use that to mix up with everything, right?
Griffiths Market is
So
also selling soil. Don't get it twisted. We're cheaper than everybody else and more healthy, all natural. Thank you. That was my
so
brief plug.
So you can, you can make your own. And yes, there's a time when you can buy perlite and you can
Yeah, we
buy
buy salt too.
soil bags, to give yourself a boost on the start. But you don't
Yeah.
have to rush. Just dig your hole, dig up, dig up, dig up, and make your own soil. You know, start investing, get your hands dirty, because times are hard and it's going to be harder. So don't play. You need food and it takes time to grow. Moringa trees grow fast. Other trees, like the thyme and different things, they grow fast. But fruit trees take forever.
But we have a beautiful lemon tree, and we share lemons sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, and that it takes a while. Fruits and nut trees, all those take a while to grow. You know, the little, different little things like the moringa and chaya and different things, they're easy to grow. But fruits, nuts, they take a long time.
And Jamaica guinea hen. You know about Jamaica guinea hen?
Yeah, we have a lot of that.
Oh.
Mhm.
Oh.
So y'all
Uh,
gonna
So-
teach a class about plants that you have in the garden at Green Foods
Yes.
Market.
Yeah, we have about 40
You know-
different kinds.
You know what? One fruit that I would say is the quickest for me, at least, is papaya. Normally,
Mhm.
I could get a papaya plant in around springtime, and I'll say by September, August, it's fruiting.
Right. That is
No,
the
I think
fastest
that's a
growing.
quick, easy one. Yeah.
Right, the fastest growing. And then in the meantime, you could eat the leaves. You could boil them for tea. A lot of
Yes.
people are using them for cancers. People come here and buy plants from me when I
And
had a
give
lot of
leaves
plants
away.
and sell the leaves. I was selling
Wow.
leaves and all because people are using it for cancer cure. Disclaimer: we don't
Mhm.
curing anybody. We just share what we do, right? But people are using it a lot for that. Soursop leaves, people are
Yes.
using a lot too.
I have a
know.
huge soursop tree, and it still has it. I've had a couple fruit. I have a couple flowers that came off out of it, but the main
No
thing is
fruit?
that I would take the leaves off. Yeah, no fruit yet. But I would take the leaves off and then dry them up in my dehydrator, crush
All
them up,
right.
and then share them with people that were battling cancer. And
That's
personally,
it.
help
That's
them.
it. And it
Yeah.
helps.
Very
And it's
good,
also a
very
good relaxer too. Mhm.
Yes.
You see,
So now let's go
that's
through. I
what
mean,
giving is all about. Giving is living.
giving is living.
Sharing, we
I
share.
like it.
Sharing.
Mhm. Yes.
So we have we pretty much ran through all of the questions that is here basically. What's the first? What is the first crop that somebody should buy? Somebody should plant that will start. I think we kind of went over it, but this is another question. I want to really frame it. What's one of the first crops that somebody, a newbie who does not have the green thumb that y'all may have, doesn't have any of the background, but wants to eat? Wants to have something that they can eat. What's the first crop they should buy or
I,
plant?
I have a funny answer to that one. The one that you like eating.
That's
And my wife
There you
always
go.
says
I,
that
I ain't
whatever
gonna-
you want to, whatever you like to eat, plant that
That's it.
because when it comes up, it does come in abundance. And it kind of goes into one thing I do want to mention. I do have a family. I have small kids that sometimes the whatever's in season they might not want to have. But what we do is we at least supplement a little bit of what we have in the ground. So we have Malabar spinach, we have Okinawa spinach. I take some of that, I'll add it to a salad that we bought at the store just to supplement with some, homegrown stuff. That's
My folks have Malabar spinach. And
No,
it's
very
Brazilian.
beneficial.
Not Malabar, Brazilian.
Didn't y'all
Oh.
have? Didn't y'all try
No,
to
never.
get Malabar spinach? I thought
At
y'all
one
had
time
that.
we did,
Somebody promised
and
us.
it died. But we have Brazilian spinach. We've always had
Okay.
Brazilian spinach.
Mm.
But callaloo is a lot more nutritious than many of these spinaches.
Yeah.
It has a
iron.
lot more iron and vitamin C and all kinds of things. A lot better. So right now we
Oh,
have so much in our yard, that we give
She is
away.
pulling them out.
Oh yeah. And the
So-
seeds. I saw the video with the seeds. That's one thing people don't know. you take those seeds, you bag them up, or you spread
Yeah.
them. They spread like wildfire. So
That's it. That's it.
Yep.
They do. You have a forest in no time. In no time,
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
trust me. You don't even want the forest so much.
That was a good thing
I
what he
want to
said,
say,
that you, whatever you like to eat, plant that. If you like sweet
that's
potato,
right.
put that in the ground. You know, if you
Mhm.
like other potatoes, put that in the
I
ground.
like
Those are
sweet potato.
sustainable, you know.
Because
So
then
whatever
you're
you
always going to
like.
want to grow it, and it's going to come in abundance, and that's the key.
Mm-hmm.
What
Mm-hmm.
will come in abundance? I want to segue real quick into the land, because I know somebody's going to ask us. We only have 25 minutes left or less. I know I know somebody's going to ask us about the land. Now, obviously, I know the story, but how did you get the acres? Because everybody has this idea that it's way too expensive. They don't know how to get it. And then they're listening to a bunch of guys that are quote unquote land gurus saying that you have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to have acres. Clearly, that was not the case for us. How did you do it?
Well, you were in New York, and my husband and I were here, and I spent nights Googling and Googling until my eyes are ready to fall out. I was Googling and checking land all over 50 states. All over. I was doing even Costa Rica and different out of the country's places, right? And I looked and looked and looked and looked. And one night, my husband was asleep and I was looking and I thought, that couldn't be real. I mean, I was so shocked that I saw this property, 17 plus acres for cheap. I was so shocked. I didn't think it was real. And I'll let you know, Nathaniel. And we went up. I think it was it
I'm a,
here?
I'm a,
Yeah. He went up and up.
So
listen. She shot me a number, and I came down, and I was fully dressed. I said, "We going now." That's how fast you have to move on these type deals.
Wow.
that's
Like,
it.
I knocked on their door. I said, "Hey, I'm ready to go now," and we
And we
drove
drove.
up there. I'd never even been to that part of Alabama. We went over there immediately. Like, as she sent it to me, like within hours of me being there, I was just like, "Let's go," because it's a
Uh-huh.
deal. You got to know what a deal is.
Right.
And at the
And it
end of
was
the
not
day,
expensive.
it was not expensive. It was not
Right.
expensive. A lot of
But
acres. Yep.
17, you cannot buy that now for that price, you know?
No.
So there are cheap lands out there. There are cheap places you
You
can
just got to
get
keep
out there.
looking, or have
Mhm.
somebody that looks, right?
Yeah.
Somebody
You
that
have to
knows
put
how
the
to
work in.
analyze it.
Right.
Yes.
You have to put the work in.
And we didn't even, and the property, so tell us, it was actually being foreclosed on by a bank, right?
Mhm.
That's
So
right.
tell us about that whole experience. You have never bought something from the bank like that before. How did that work out? What was your thoughts? You didn't believe it was real when you first saw it, right? They
Mm.
probably didn't believe it. I think they wanted to heist the price up. That's why they didn't want us to close on it immediately. Because I was ready to close that night. As soon as we drove up there, like, "Hey guys, we're ready to close today." They did not let us close
Okay,
that
and
day.
they almost stopped us from buying it because they said something like, "There's a person who owned a little piece, like a quarter acre, in between us." And I said, "Oh no, we're gonna take it anyway." And we've been trying to call that person and haven't been able to call that person.
Only to find
And
out that was a part of a road.
yes, a young man told us that was a part of a road. So even if that person owned it, there is a law. You told us, Nathaniel, that
Right.
was it you, somebody else,
Easement.
maybe?
They had to give you an easement.
Yeah, but then if there's a piece of land and nobody claim it for 7 or 8 years,
Oh yeah,
that
yeah.
piece
You
of
don't.
land could be
Yep,
yours.
yep, yep. You
So
just
this is
follow the
past
paperwork. Yep, yep,
7 or 8 years. And so all we have to do now is fence it,
yep.
you know, and have a gate or something. And then, you know what I mean?
So
So that
she
the
did a
whole
little
thing.
complex deal, which is called adverse possession. And honestly, um, as she bought it, I already knew that she kind of would own it anyway, and that was the key. So it was just a little sliver of lot that actually had a little bit of natural gas on it. So a lot of times you got to look for the mineral rights. So that was a part of their contract. They wanted to sever the mineral rights, and you don't want them to sever these things. Sometimes they are sold before you get the land, right? And they have to declare that it was on there and it's not yours. But we wanted everything, right? So the key is to look and do your due diligence with that. So
Hmm.
how was that? Did you know anything about those type of things before?
No, we didn't know anything. We were as green as anything. We didn't know anything. We just prayed and went up there. We didn't know anything. I mean, you enlightened us because you remember that other property in Carolinas.
Oh,
So,
oh boy.
but you enlighten us, and it's good to have backup.
That's right.
All right, it's good to have backup because we don't know everything,
Mhm.
and I needed help. And so we prayed about it, and you went up there with us, and we settled it, and we got it. You know, for that 17 acres, you wouldn't be able to buy that in Florida, that's for sure.
And people want to
For
buy
that price.
portions of it
And
from
people
us.
keep sending me papers that they want to buy a portion of it. They want to this, and this guy wanted to do a farm on it, and make him the first person to when we want to sell it. But you don't sell land. Don't. We're not gonna sell the land
Right.
ever.
So, and also there's a lot of trees on there. So we learned a lot about the trees that
Yeah.
were on there. We learned about logging and all that stuff, how much it
Yes,
costs
they
per
do a lot up
acre.
there, logging.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty amazing stuff. So land is of huge value, but if you want to start farming, you could do it anywhere, even in your backyard, even in a
That's it.
bucket. Okay? That's what we
That's
want to
it.
share with you. So take the blinders off your eyes and look for the opportunity. Promise you it's out there. Okay? And of course, the Real Estate Deal Lab, we house a lot of that knowledge and those opportunities. We talk about them all the time, like we're doing today, because they're really out there. My parents really got it, and they didn't have any idea in the beginning, but we learned as we go. And of course, I shared the knowledge on what we do in real estate, and we're able to get deals, right? There's definitely banks that sell properties and lands all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will send you, if you
Foreclosures too.
guys comment below. Yeah, if you comment below, I'll be able to send you a link to several sites that actually just has lands at auction, right? So again, there's opportunities everywhere. You can grow your own farm in your backyard. And if you want more land, you can also get that too. So it's not hard. It just takes some community, some efforts, and knowledge, and that's what we're here for. All right. Anybody
Mm-hmm.
has any knowledge you want to drop on the people before we head out? Oh, and there's
Always make
grants.
sense.
There's grants. There's money out there. Okay.
Mhm.
Mm.
I
Right.
need
So
some of that.
that's right. I created an ebook. Well, come on, we got to put that paperwork in. That's my folks. I'm going to talk to them roughly.
Okay.
We're going to do it. So again, like my mother said, they have the numbers for one farm, right? But their backyard is already able to be registered, right?
That's
So
it.
if
That's
you
it.
have agriculture, you can actually submit to say, hey, my taxes can be reduced in certain areas. You got to have some livestock, this, that, the other. You never know unless you ask. And a lot of times when you go to these government buildings, they haven't even seen a lot of people come in there often. No one's really like, hey,
Mhm.
listen, agriculture, hey, is there money? Get out there and ask, okay? That's it. Oh, what do I have to do? Ask, okay? Go and ask. And I promise you, you'll be surprised what kind of knowledge is going to be given and what you will learn in return, okay? So definitely stay tuned for the ebooks that we have that's based on my parents' stories with getting land and Donville's ideas and concepts in growing. We're going to compile all that together, and we're going to have some grants on there as well that you could take advantage of right now. It's not that hard. You just have to have and be registered for the farms. We look forward to each and every one of you growing your own stuff, and maybe you invite me to the barbecue.
I know you were
Barbecue.
talking about it.
Yeah,
Yes.
we would go over there. Yeah, my dad, you see him talking? He's ready to hang out too. Let's go. Let's go. So at the end of the day,
Definitely.
there's so much abundance in this world, and we're sharing this right now because we believe in it. We live it already, and we want you to do the same. So without further ado, I wish you all the best, and I hope to see each and every one of you at the closing table. All right?
All right. Good
All right,
night.
Sig. All right,
Have a
y'all have a
good
great
night.
night.
Good
I'll come
night.
to your farm
Everyone.
later.
Nice to meet you, Donville.
Yes.
Okay.
Great to
Bye-bye.
meet you both. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Okay.
I won't click off like I did the last time. I'll just wait a little bit.
Slowly.
Okay.
Good night. Bye.
Good night.